Imminence dropped their new album, The Black. We spoke to Imminence. It's going to be out this week, this Thursday to be specific. So I like this record. I like this record a lot. On first listen, I did not.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. It was the exact same way. I mean, I liked it, but I couldn't wrap my head around it. It was, I could say that was a good record, but I didn't understand it or digest it.
Yeah, I didn't grasp it. That was my problem. I like something in my brain just like blew right past the first half of the record and hyper focused on the second half of the record, where there's a lot more orchestral moments and it slows down a little bit. And in my head, I just got this idea where there were a couple of heavy songs and then the rest of the record was slow, and that's not the fucking case at all.
No.
Like I made sure when I revisited this record to go into it removing that and just like actually making sure that I was listening to it like fully awake, full attention on it, because I wanted to come away gaining something from the record, even if it was still like at least I don't think it is what I thought it was 12 hours ago. And I came away fucking floored. I would like, people were hyping this record up over the weekend. I'm like, I mean, it's fine. Like it's fine.
What I remember.
Yes, it's fine. And now I'm like, nah. People are right.
Yeah.
Everybody on Twitter that's saying this record's great is cooking. Straight cooking.
Absolutely. I wanted to add the first listen before our interview. I feel like it's the same for both of us. When we're listening to music for interviews, it's for me on a different screen while I'm working, because we usually have 3 to 4 interviews a day, so it's just kind of I'm playing them back to back while I'm working on either my business, my family's business, or podcast shit. I wasn't able to give the album my full attention. It was just on loud. I could hear it. It wasn't like off, turned down in the background, but I wasn't focused on it, if that makes sense. For this album, first listen, do not do that shit. If you can, I know a lot of people can't, because if we did that for every single album before an interview, we wouldn't be able to get our own personal work done, because that's like 3, 4 to 6, sometimes 6 hours of music a day that we have to listen to for interviews. For second listen, I made an effort because I remembered bits and pieces of it that I really liked that my brain would pick up on as I was working, and I wanted to give this album more attention than I did before. After like the first like 2 songs went by, I had to kind of close my work and just kind of sit here and listen to it and kind of look at the track list, kind of look at the album as I was listening to it. And that made the experience completely different. I was able to actually appreciate the vocals, appreciate the contrast in some parts where the vocals sounded like fucking broken and fucking emotional and giving up, to then just a fucking shriek. It was like a completely different journey that I had the second time around. This album is fucking incredible. The vocals are eerie. The instrumental puts you on edge because it just feels haunted, and it feels like you just discovered something in like a fucking crypt that you should not have opened. You should not have wound that music box, because now you're gonna be fucking haunted for the rest of your life. Like, it's that type of, this is life-changing shit type of music. I don't think I've ever heard an album that has made me feel this type of holy fuck.
Life-changing shit is a wild way to fucking describe the record.
Because it's just like, I've never heard anything like this. It's, as you said, it's very, there are orchestral moments, but it's not in the typical orchestral fashion where it's like, we have a little break here for a violin and that's it. It's like, it's perfectly woven into it.
Yeah.
It's not like, there isn't any separation. You can't tell where the orchestral starts and where the metal and heavy and angst and eerie shit begins. I think this album is fucking incredible. I have to keep a list of albums that I like for album of the year, so I'm not just bullshitting at the end of the year. This has placed itself on there. I don't know if it's going to stay on there, but right now, my impression is that this is a contender for my top 10 because of how just fucking I've just genuinely never heard anything this creative
Mhm.
and in this type of way. Obviously, we listen to a lot of creative things, and because music itself is so abstract, you could do so many different things with it. But just in this genre of creative where it's like haunting,
Mhm.
never heard shit like this before. And I think it's just I really liked it. I don't know if you could tell.
I can tell you really liked this record. Makes me nervous to follow your thing up here because
Oh,
like I enjoyed the record
yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
Like huge shout out to the second half where
Yeah.
like the orchestral moments and things like that really become present in the album. Kind of there's an obvious shift in the tone. It's not as heavy as it is on the
Yeah.
first half. Like, you know, as I stated earlier,
Mhm.
I just like thought it slowed down to nothing, and there are a couple of slow tracks on the tail end, but
Yeah.
it really ties the full record together and you know, creates this very special and interesting listening experience
Yeah.
when putting the two, you know, heavy on one side and then a little bit more orchestral moment on the B side. I really liked the opener, Come Hell or High Water,
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
because
my
like,
favorite.
not to steal what you said, but that haunting vibe, like just the haunting, like Come Hell or High Water that was repeated, and then like it would peak up, and it's so good.
Yeah.
That's been
And then
stuck in
also
my
how
head.
they drop the album title multiple times in the album. How they're either whispering in the back, like, "The Black." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, shit." It just gets me excited. It's so fucking fun.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry,
Yeah,
continue.
so I really like that moment, and then I really like Death by a Thousand Cuts as well. That's also, you know, one of my favorites off the record.
I think
Just
you mentioned that in the interview. Death by a
did I?
Thousand Cuts? I think you might have. It
Yeah,
sounds very familiar, you saying
possible.
it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite song on the record. Come Hell or High Water, we have gained an appreciation for, because I love a good opener. Like, you know, we ask about it in the fucking interviews. It's my question. You know, I love a good opener. I love a good closer. You know, and then just like the B side entirely just ties it all together, man.
Absolutely.
I'm here for this record. I get the hype. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend you check it out. This, you know, I don't think we're going to be able to escape this band this year. I think that this record is the start, you know. So very stoked for that. And then check our interview out. If you're watching this before Thursday, watch it on Thursday. Afterwards, it's out. Go watch it.
Go watch it. I also did want to give a shout out to the instrumental interlude tracks like Cul-de-sac, and I believe the closer as well, if I'm remembering it properly, was a full interlude track, which on first listen was a strange choice, but I think the big opener versus kind of like an interlude eerie closer, perfect contrast. I think it worked very well.